Coin 6 investigates a vacant home that neighbors feel is a real danger to the public.
It's located at Northwest 181st Avenue in Beaverton. It's near a park. Our Jennifer Dowling takes neighbors' concerns about the barrels on the property that they think could be explosive. She took their concerns to Washington County officials. Jennifer's here.
That's right, Ann and Jeff. Residents say the home had been vacant for quite some time and was surrounded by barrels of unknown liquids and canisters that contained substances county officials said could be flammable. Frustrated neighbors nicknamed it the Hazmat House and called Coin 6 News desperate for help.
As you can see, there's quite a few items here.
This neighborhood association member, who didn't want us to release his name, called Coin 6 frustrated.
I don't know what's in some of these barrels.
The problem, he pointed out, piled high in this yard on Northwest 181st Avenue.
I'm looking at gas cans here.
I found there were also containers labeled nitric acid and muriatic acid, as well as paint cans and canisters labeled gear oil. The home sits just feet from a park where children play.
I just don't want to see this whole thing go up in flames.
Neighbors said residents stopped living in the home in late 2013. Documents Coin 6 obtained in a public information request show that in May of 2014, neighbor Rachel Woody complained to Washington County's Health and Human Services Department, saying, quote, "We as a community are worried. This home is a fire hazard and much more. We think that there might be rodents, raccoons, etc. living in the yard." Washington County Code Enforcement Officer Andre Bjornskov responded by investigating on the 27th. He reported, among other concerns, the pond is not fenced on all sides to prevent children from possible harm, and some of the liquid and chemical materials observed may be toxic or hazardous.
There were some propane containers and other containers.
Is that a fire hazard?
Certainly, absolutely. The oil-based paint, as well as any solvent-type chemicals, certainly could be flammable.
Andre says a firework, match, or cigarette aren't the only things that could start a fire. He said extreme heat could cause some materials to spontaneously combust.
What are some of the challenges you face in cleaning up properties like this or handling them?
Generally finding the owner, particularly in those abandoned properties.
County records listed Scott Rovig as the owner. I went to Rovig's current listed address and left a note. He called us back later but declined a recorded interview.
You're listed as the owner.
He did tell me that the home was in the process of foreclosure. Rovig said he was behind in payments, and when the bank demanded $35,000, he moved out because he didn't have the money. As for the items in the yard,
there were a lot of chemicals that were left behind.
Rovig said some of the barrels were once used to store vegetable oil to make biodiesel for his truck, and the muriatic acid was used for doing stonework. But he argued that he didn't remember having nitric acid.
We found jugs that said nitric acid. There was a liquid in it. We're not quite sure what was in it. Do you know what was in it?
He told us to ask Safeguard Properties about what was in the canisters. A door sticker indicated that company currently had maintenance control of the property. It's a mortgage field service company with main offices based in Ohio. The neighbor we interviewed said he had also previously called Safeguard asking them to clean up. I found out the code enforcement officer mailed them a notice of non-compliance on May 27th. May 29th, he received this reply from a Safeguard employee saying, quote, "I have placed orders to have the reported violations addressed." But July 2nd, documents show Andre checked again and reported there has been no cleanup of the property, and he sent another email. July 3rd, a Safeguard employee sent this message saying, quote, "We are still waiting for a copy of the violation in order to remove all of the hazardous material from the property." Andre had to remind them in this notice that that had been sent nearly a month ago.
Were you frustrated that it was taking a while for this?
It always frustrates me if it takes longer than 15 days.
We decided to call Safeguard Properties.
This is Jennifer from Coin 6 News. I am trying to get a hold of someone there to talk about a property in Beaverton that's at Northwest 181st that's been a problem for the community. Is Scott Rovig the owner, or does your company own that property now?
Unfortunately, I can't give out any information. We don't own properties, though.
Okay.
Okay?
Maybe Megan can help me understand that better.
She did not return our voicemail request for comment, but we called on the 15th, and the next day, on July 16th, cleanup crews arrived to haul the barrels and chemicals away.
Well, I think myself and the neighborhood is delighted. We're in great appreciation of your help in getting this resolved. I don't know exactly when they would have come out had it not been for you folks.
So what can you do if you're frustrated with properties that are abandoned or in foreclosure? Well, Andre says first, file an official complaint with the city or county government. Next, keep code enforcement officers updated on the progress there. You can also document the state of the home by mailing or emailing pictures even after the complaint has been filed. And have some patience. He says sometimes it takes a while for officials to find out who's responsible when a home is in foreclosure. And I learned there's also been an uptick in cases in the past 2 to 2.5 years in Washington County, which gives code enforcement officers a bigger caseload. Jeff and Ann?
Which goes back to your point about the patients. Thank you. Nice work as well. And if you have a story that you think we should investigate, call our tip line. The number is 503-464-0861, or you can send us an email. Send it to reportit@coin.com.